Continue. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I know that some of you are having a really busy agenda, so thank you for taking your time to participate in this ambassador meetup. We have some news, and the ambassador program is having a lot of news, so thank you for all of your support and collaboration. So this is the meeting agenda. We will start this session with an island innovation quiz. I know that you are excited for that. Then we have the UN Ocean Conference, and we will explain about the Island Innovation Pavilion at the UN Ocean Conference, how ambassadors can partake, and the call to action for this day UN conference and next steps. So I am here today with my colleagues, Stacy. You already know Stacy Alvarez. She was an ambassador of the ambassador program, but she is now collaborating us, and she has a lot of experience in UN conference and all of the topics related to the UN. And I am here also with Thais Maciel. She is the marketing director of Island Innovation, and she will participate in person for the UN conference. So you can have a really good meeting with Thais if you will participate in person there. So we're gonna start with the first topic. It's the Island Innovation Quiz. So you already know this game. It's a really good game that you will find images or you will find text around the island. So please answer the questions or select the alternatives where appropriate. So you have to write in the chat, and we will be monitoring the chat. And also, I would like to mention that I am here with Christian Aquino. He is my colleague, and I really like to participate in those games with him. So Chris, if you want to help me monitoring the chat, I will really appreciate that.
Of course.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, so we have the first question. This is Pacific Island state with one of the largest raised coral atolls on Earth, has recently announced that it will protect 100% of the ocean and its inclusive economic zone. Which country is it? Christian?
Okay, so we have Fiji, Palau, Hawaii, Tuvalu. Remember to participate. Only four responses, really. Okay, Palau again. Keep participating. Japan, Tuvalu.
I think the Tuvalu is the most repetitive one. So let's see.
Yeah, they are on the
let's see, Palau and Tuvalu. Niue. Okay, no one say that. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I didn't know the answer, so okay, thank you for your participation at this question. Second one is, which Caribbean island successfully complete the Blue Growth Coastal Master Plan that later became a model for other islands to enhance their blue economy?
Okay, so Curacao, Niue, Solomon Island. Remember, this is again. Oh no. Oh yeah.
Dominica. Bonaire, Dominica, Barbados, Aruba, US Virgin Island, Jamaica, Belize, Caribbean island.
But which one, Avia?
No, Avia already knows the answer because
I was
she
just
created.
reminding them it's an island.
It's a Caribbean island, thanks.
Okay, we
Avia
have,
created this quiz, so she
yeah,
already
we
knows
have
the
another
answer.
island. Anyone
Okay,
else?
so the correct one is Grenada. The island
No one
success.
got it.
Wow,
I-
Grenada. Mm.
okay, really difficult quiz today. Thank you, Avia. You are
I'm
telling me
sorry.
that.
No, this is fantastic.
The Eastern
Wow.
African coastal state, Kenya, launched Go Blue in 2021, a 4-year program to protect its coastal ecosystem while creating environmentally friendly jobs in a host of industry. Can you name any 3 of the inhabited Kenyan islands?
So this is a hard
Wow.
one.
Wow. We have an ambassador from Kenya.
Yeah.
I think we have
Okay.
3 or 5 ambassadors from Kenya this year. I can see Leroy is writing something.
Oh, but I don't know.
Leroy is writing, I don't know.
Yeah,
No.
I thought it was something off the coast of Mombasa, but I don't know.
Okay, Mombasa, okay. We
Well,
have
not Mombasa
one.
stuff is part of Kenya, but the island, I don't know the island that was over there.
Okay.
I think
Thank
no
you,
one is
Leroy.
answering. Other than
No,
Leroy.
really difficult
Yeah.
one. Okay,
Uh,
I will give
uh-huh.
5, 3, 2, 1. No idea. Okay, so oh, Mombasa Island.
Oh, I got, oh, I won, but yeah.
Leroy, you
Look at
won
this
this
possible
game. You say Mombasa, but yeah, it's one of these. Okay, Leroy is the winner of this question.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. This is the first member located in the Caribbean to join the UK government's flagship marine conservation program, Blue Belt. Which island is it? Hint, it is an overseas territory.
Uh-huh. That is a very important hint. So remember, no republics, no independent countries.
Okay,
I
so,
think these questions are really well prepared. Really challenging.
what's it?
It's a learning experience.
Thank
So
you,
we have
Avia.
the first, okay.
We are
We're
learning a
viewing-
lot today. Oops.
We're all learning how to Google really fast so that we can know what these answers are.
Remember that we said no independent countries, but you know. Okay, Saint
Who's that?
Martin.
Oh, yeah.
I am learning how little I know. Thank you, Karen. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Big more.
Turks and Caicos. I
Oh.
know. Who answered this?
So
Courtney and Julie. I know Abigail, Julie. Wow, okay. Next
And Abigail.
question. This archipelagic island country in the Indian Ocean is trying to reverse the impact of tourism with a sophisticated zoning plan, marine spatial planning initiative to revitalize and protect its ocean. Hint, Aldabra Atoll and UNESCO World Heritage Site belong to them. Wow, Avia. Wow.
Or Maldives. Those are the only two.
Maldives, Seychelles. Seychelles, my Maldives.
Anyone
Seychelles,
else want to
Maldives.
take a guess?
Maldives,
Maldives.
Maldives, Maldives. No more, no more.
Diego
Diego
Garcia.
Garcia.
Oh,
Wow. Wow. Who knows? Maybe.
but is it a country? Is it an island country, or is it an island of a country?
No, Diego Garcia is right. It's right in the middle of the U.S. British. It's read by the British, but it's right in the Indian Ocean. It's titled where the Pacific and the Indian come together.
But it is not
Are you
like.
sure? I thought it was in the Chile and Patagonia. I don't know
No,
why.
but
I just.
remember,
No, it's an island nation, small as it may be.
Diego Garcia, wow. We are learning a lot today. Avia and Leroy are challenging us. Okay, so the right answer is Seychelles. Okay, I know that some of you
Seychelles.
answered it.
Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine and Jesse.
Jesse.
Jesse
Yeah.
got that as well. Yay.
Okay, no Maldives, no Maldives, no Team Maldives. Okay, next one. This archipelagic nation in the Pacific has worked to develop sustainable fishing practice. Oops, sorry. I can see with the island sustainable fishing practices in the pathway to sustainable ocean project. Here,
Wait, it went back there, the slide.
Halafonongaki has, okay. You can
Abby
see
is
here.
giving a hint that it's not really.
No, not really useful. Abia, the hint, Halafonongaki hanungatai.
I thought the language would be ahead.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you
sorry.
for that.
Fiji. Anyone else? Only two.
Diego Garcia. No.
No.
No. Maybe
Okay,
Diego
so
Garcia.
Sharna says the Philippines. Anyone
Wow.
else?
Cook Island, the
I
Philippines.
like Fiji too. I like Fiji,
too.
but is that the answer?
I like Fiji too.
Yeah.
Okay, Vanuatu. Okay, let's see the correct answer.
Mhm.
Tonga.
There
Wow. Tonga. Avia, you are telling us today. Thank you. Okay, we have the organization known as Four Oceans has removed more than 7 million pounds of garbage from the ocean. From which country does this organization originate?
Okay, so we
Wow.
have USA. Anyone else?
To say. We are learning a lot today. Canada, Bali.
Anyone else? Or are USA?
Do you have any
No,
hints, Avia?
What is that island, Jesse? Jesse, no idea? No idea island.
I like no idea too. Okay. Australia.
Okay, Australia.
Okay, so let's see. Indonesia.
Oh
Wow.
my God. No one got it again.
Fun
Yeah,
fact.
somebody got the
Island that you
answer. I
named.
saw Bali. Somebody got the answer.
Bali, but Bali is not Indonesia or
No,
yeah.
it is a city.
Yeah, it's within Indonesia. It's one of their islands.
Okay, so let me see if we have any. We have the final one. The final one. Okay.
Aha.
So, a very remote island in the South Atlantic Ocean was recently declared marine protection zone. The marine protection zone, almost 3 times the size of UK, safeguards one of the world's most pristine marine environments and protects the wealth of wildlife that lives there. I think we have one ambassador from this island. Start with T. Start with T. No,
No,
not
no
Ascension.
No,
Ascension. No, Ascension.
Yeah.
No.
Tristan de Cunha.
Tristan de Cunha. Okay, start with T. Start
The
with
most
T.
remote
This is my
address.
hint. This is my
Okay.
hint. Could be Tristan de
The other
Cunha.
island with a
Cunha.
T?
Trinidad and Tobago. Tuvalu, Tonga. Okay. Okay, so the correct one is Tristan da Cunha.
Yay!
Thank you so much. Thank you
It won't
so
be
much.
this difficult next time, don't worry.
Okay, thank you, Abia, for this
Congratulations,
game.
Jessica and Jess.
Thank you, Leroy, for Diego de Garcia and Mombasa. We learned a lot today.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we will continue with the rest of the presentation. So we have the UN Ocean Conference 2022. So I will invite my colleague Stacy to present here. Stacy.
I somehow can hear me because my
We cannot really hear you well. Yes, so.
I can do it if Stacy can. Let's try, Stacy.
Can you all hear me
Can
now?
you hear?
Yes, now
Yes.
it's
Okay. Go.
Okay, so it's great to see all of you ambassadors. As you know, I'm Stacy. I am the content and community manager here at Island Innovation. So I want to talk to you all a little bit about the UN Ocean Conference of 2022. That's a very significant conference that's coming up soon. We want to let you all know how you can feel as if you're a part of it. A few of us team members are going to be there on the ground. Thais, for example, is going to be there. Yay, Thais! So we want to let you all know how you can feel as if you're there. We're going to try our best to make you feel as if you're actually on site as well. So this is an in-person event, okay? So, luckily COVID is beginning I think people are learning how to cope with COVID. Vaccines are more and more prevalent. So this is an in-person event and it's going to be hosted by the governments of Kenya and Portugal. So the whole point of this event is to mobilize action towards sustainable ocean development. So it's not just about talking, it's supposed to be about action. And I think that's very important for us to recognize that about what's happening. So we need to advance science-based innovative solutions. So we have to think about how can we create solutions that are based in science. At this conference too, there's going to be an exploration of science in a way that can make it relatable and understandable, because a lot of people tend to be a bit intimidated by science. And that's something, if we can help you, here at Island Innovation, we can help you better understand some of the science too. That's really important, because then you can take informed action. Okay, so the whole idea of sustainable ocean development, it is something that we have to, again, think about the term sustainable, something that will keep going, how the ocean is developed, how we make good use of resources from the ocean. It has to be done in a way that's going to safeguard those resources for future generations. There's not much point us using up all of the resources and then, my son or children or, grandchildren can't enjoy the earth. The whole point should be for us to try and keep this world a better place, maintain it, and actually make it even better, if possible. So we should also really have as an aim that we should regenerate the oceans, okay? So the overarching theme of the conference, the idea of scaling up ocean action. Okay, so scaling up, we need to do more. Okay, it's not just about keeping things as they are now. We need to see how can we do more. We have again a mention of science, based on science and innovation for the implementation of Goal 14. So stock taking. We're going to take stock of something. We like to say that we assess what's really going on. We have to understand what's happening with the ocean. So it's important to get a real picture. So don't be afraid of knowing reality. Sometimes it's easy to say, oh, well, I'll look for what sounds better or feels better to know. No, this is a time when we have to embrace what's really going on so we can make a meaningful difference in what's happening. Okay, so you can go to the next slide, please, Isabel. Okay, so the goals of the UN conference. So I'll talk this through for a little bit longer. So we have to bring together world leaders, scientists, and the business community, change makers and activists. So if you think about these people, all of the people that we mentioned here, we can think about like a long line. I like to think of a continuum, and we have the beginning, and we have the middle, and we have the end. And we have to think about how can we all move together to do this, because we tend to look at world leaders on one side of the fence and activists on the other side, or scientists and change makers being different. But I think one of the goals of the conference that's going to make it stand out is for us to come to the understanding that we all have to work together with this. It's incredibly important for us to see how do we all have the same goal and the same objective to protect the ocean, to conserve it, and to see how can we seek to balance how we're using ocean resources. That above everything else is crucial. So the idea of calling those who can step up to make necessary change. So that whole idea, you know, talk the talk and walk the walk. We have to start to walk the talk. There's a lot of talking, and we can all relate to that. Some of us in island communities can see that policymakers can talk and not much happens. So this is why we all need to work together. If we just leave it to one section of society, not only will it not happen, but that section is not representative of the needs of everybody. Okay, so the whole idea of making necessary changes to transform policies, businesses, and lifestyle. So in terms of policies, we can think of policies as representing more of the public sector or more governments, because at the end of the day, governments create the policies that we all live by and use. But then there are also businesses. So the private sector, how can we get more cooperation between governments and the private sector that might be less kind of confined by procedure and formality? So the private sector often can boost innovation. They'll have the finances, they know how to, you know, bring together resources, and that combined with the government's overarching, you know, stewardship of a country or an island territory can help very much. But lifestyles now. So the idea of lifestyle, so now we have to remember, it is actually kind of down to all of us. It's down to us individuals to see what little things can we do to change how we take care of the ocean. How can we learn more about, say, plastic pollution? Because that's a huge issue in the ocean, plastic pollution, plastic breaking down into microplastics, those plastics being ingested by fish, we eat the fish, and we end up having small particles of plastic in our bodies. So this is something that's going through the food chain. There's also now actually the concept of nanoplastics, which are terrible and are actually in the air that we breathe. So that's where the science can seem scary, but that science can fuel innovation as well. That you can be driven and feel the urgency to make real changes. So we need to look at how we're gonna use the ocean resources and recognize that our well-being is tied to the ocean's well-being. If we deplete the ocean, we're depleting ourselves in every way, shape, and form. So that brings us to point number 3 and how all of this is tied together. Human health is tied to the ocean. You know, human health, not just our physical health in terms of the ocean, it actually produces literally the very air that we breathe. So we could not live without the ocean. So that's our physiological health, but also our mental and emotional health. A lot of it is linked to the ocean. I know Thais can relate to this as a fellow surfer. We love surfing. That brings a sense of well-being. It's exercise. How many people love the sound of waves at the ocean? When you go swimming, when you encounter the wonders of, you know, ocean biodiversity. In Barbados, we have quite a lot of turtles. There's a certain time of year when whales come to Barbados, so we see them off the coast, and sometimes when we're sailing, we see huge whales. So there's something about that connection with nature that's very healing. So we have to see that, you know, whatever we do for the ocean, we're actually doing to ourselves. And then the idea of economic prosperity. We have to look to see how can we prosper, not just about living and surviving. How can we really use the ocean, and how can the ocean use us? What can we learn from the ocean to see how can we get better and regenerate who we are as people, who we are as a species, by learning to respect other species. So the economic prosperity lies in the fact that if we can really keep the stewardship of the oceans, it will help to feed us in terms of, you know, the type of food that we get from the ocean. Fish is very nutritious. We can look at using, you know, the ocean in terms of shipping and freights. We see now issues with supply chains, so we have to be careful with, you know, using the ocean as a means of transport. We can't, you know, looking at how we can stay away from polluting the ocean. Okay, and then stable climate. Climate change is really linked to ocean health. When the, you know, the rising temperatures of the oceans are causing a lot of issues with melting glaciers. You know, we have the existential crisis being faced by many, many small islands where the ocean is just, you know, they're going to be submerged. So we have, you know, a whole way of life, a whole generation, speech, languages lost. So this where it really is crucial for us to see, focus on the solutions, okay? Focus on what can we do together. We have a very interesting case where islands have joined forces, some islands have joined forces to see how can they lobby the UN, how can they lobby policymakers and lawmakers to really take responsibility for climate change. Okay, so we have to look at how can we make the world a more peaceful place and a healthier place by looking after the ocean and everything that it means to us. And this is where your voices come in now as island ambassadors. I think in the next slide, I have some questions to ask. So I want to see in the chat, or you can raise your hand, what role does the ocean play in your island identity? And that might be something you may or may not have thought about before. But what role does the ocean play in your island identity? How your island is portrayed towards other people, or what you feel about your island? Like how much of, if you imagine feeling at home, how much would you imagine the ocean? I'm going to mute for just a second and see if that will encourage people to put their hands up or put some comments in the chat. Okay, so I've just typed, don't be shy. We want everybody to have them say, okay, great. So, okay, so someone says provide seafood. Okay, exactly. So your island identity, you have a particular way of, food is culture. So that's a great point. And anybody who knows me on the team knows how much I love food and talking about food and recipes. So provide some seafood. So how can we sustainably, take advantage of the fact that seafood and fish is very high in protein. It's very nutritious for you, those of you who eat fish. Okay, and sometimes they are aspects of culture and heritage that revolve around the act of fishing, and not necessarily consuming that seafood, but even how do you get to know the creatures and the wonderful biodiversity of the ocean. So there's a lot more ocean in our lives and land. So that's a really good point, Jessie, the idea that to get away from this idea of calling ourselves small island developing states, and a term I've seen becoming more popular is large ocean states. Because if we look at ourselves that way and we change that narrative about how we're linked to the ocean can give us significance and power, I think that's really important. So we have the ocean is why Francisca keeps moving to live on islands. Yes, it's a really lovely healing feeling to me there in the ocean. And the ocean is a symbol on the part of the flag of Curacao. So the representative of your people and your island identity is right there on your flag. So that says a lot. So I have someone else saying that a lot of the beaches, when we look at tourism, a lot of what attracts other people to our island, and when we can actually involve ecotourism in conserving and maintaining our coastlines and our beaches. So that's a very important point from Odette about the Dominican Republic and the wonderful beaches that are there. Yes, everything important about the island of Hawaii is recognized by the oceans. I agree with that, Leroy, particularly to do with the culture and the language. Yes, very much so. The ocean is alive. And the island and the integral part of your identity, yeah. It does make it, it makes us whole. I like the idea of our connection to the ocean making us whole. And fishing mullet during the winter. I think that's really great. That's a good point that Thais makes, that in my island, Santa Catalina, there's a very strong tradition around fishing mullet during the winter. And fishermen even close the beaches from May to July, and no water sports are allowed during this period. So I think that's a really great example Thais gives of how economic activity like water sports has got to be balanced in conservation and through efforts to maintain cultures and different species. That's great. So that's right. So the idea of the ocean playing a big part in industry and a big part in raising, if you use sustainable aquaculture, for example, that's a good way to show that you can feed your population and help increase economic activity. And Jessie's talking about the aliens. It's true, Jessie. Okay, so do we have another question? You can move on to the next slide, Isabel. Let's see, what's another question? It defines our community and boundaries. That's a good point, Kieran, about the oceans. So what can ambassadors do to call local authorities' attention to the current ocean crisis? And this is where we're going to talk now about walking the talk, as I like to call it. What can we do as ambassadors, recognizing the fact that you can call attention to an ocean crisis and you can call for a need to collaborate, because there are ways in which as coastal communities, you might be more in touch with, literally and figuratively, with your oceans and what's happening around you. I remember there was a point in Barbados a few years ago, it was very sad. We had a bunch of what are called fish kills. All of a sudden you would see dead fish appearing on the beach. So the sight of the fish and the smell of them, when you're, miles away in Parliament or miles away sitting at your desk writing policies, when you're not hit by that, you know, when you don't see that and experience it, it's easier to forget it. So this is where what kind of things can we do to call attention to the current ocean crisis? Any ideas that anyone has, you can raise your hand. Again, don't be shy, or you can put a comment in the chat and we can unmute you. Okay, I'm checking through to see if anyone has anything.
Christian.
Hello.
Christian raised his hand.
Have two people. So Christian, and then we'll take Jin. Yes, Christian.
Yeah, I think that we need to raise our voices in whatever platform that we are able to, because the government, it usually happens that they don't listen until we are more strong with our voices. It has happened here, for example, with a lot of oil spillages here in the Caribbean, not only speaking about my island here in Venezuela, but it's like the government says, no, we take care of the environment. But you have an oil spill like every 2 or 3 months, and you control the oil industry because it's a national industry here. So what are you doing? And presenting something like, for example, if we are there on the ground and we have the opportunity to reach out to one of those representatives, even on a hall or in the bathroom or something, it's like, what are you doing? Are you representing your country really? Or should we need to raise our voices internationally? I think that community action sometimes makes more sense than the government and the politics.
That's a good point about community action. So drawing attention to something and then drawing attention to it, but asking for there to be accountability, you know, and bring solutions to that. Okay, we have Jin. Yes, can we hear you? Have your hand is raised.
Okay, thanks so much. So, thanks so much. So, as a ambassadors, I mean, island development ambassadors, I like to do the UN Ocean Conference for to call to some deal with the IUU fishing, illegal and unauthorized and unregulated and unreported fishing. It's going to be the huge damage for the economical issues and social issues and biodiversity issues as well. And also, I also try to address into the ocean plastic pollution as well. Likewise, based on the output of the Unit 5.2, they're mentioning about some of they're going to set up the legal framework for the addressing to the UN ocean pollutions for the especially for the plastic and the chemical pollutions. And then so my country from Japan and around the areas, some of the sea areas has a more 10 times density of the plastic pollutions compared to any other ocean areas. So I like to strongly address to divert to some of the intervention or divert to some of the statement or some countermeasures to the local authorities for the highlighting to the importance of the ocean biodiversity for the for solving to the plastic pollution and chemical pollutions. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Those are excellent points. Great points about plastic pollution. Great points about, you know, illegal fishing and overfishing. And if you fish out of particular seasons, you're going to have an impact on how well the fish can reproduce. And a lot of the time, we have that issue with flying fish, which is Barbados' national dish. When the fishes are caught when they're too immature, they don't get a chance to spawn and reproduce, and that leads to a shortage. So that might seem like something simple, but it has a huge effect on what happens. I want to take a couple of things I see in the chat. I see the idea that Leroy brought about. Does anyone else? I see someone's unmuted, I think. Chris. Okay, I think someone's unmuted themselves. I don't know if you'd like to say anything. Okay, no. Okay, so just having a look at a comment that Leroy made in the chat. That's a very good point. Leroy was saying, attend town halls and government open meetings. There are ways in which, and there are times in which that government or for, you know, the public sector does actually try to reach out. So it's a matter of us making sure that we're tuned into these things that are happening. We've had instances in Barbados when town hall meetings are called and you'll have like 4 people attending. And, you know, because again, it's also the medium that's used to communicate this information. So I know that government here social media and different platforms. Leroy, you've unmuted. Would you like to contribute to that point that you made?
Yeah. So as a part of that, not to just town halls that when they're called by the government, because you got to have someone who has the microphone, right? So you need to sort of advocate. So even if no one attends, if you just one of the few that's there, your issue now becomes high on the list because you can follow up with it, and also engaging directly, with folks that you see that are more leaning towards the support, and just make it something that's more valuable to put on the agenda to be able to support, because you got to have that leadership. We can do what we want to at our level, but unless you get policy changers and those that are writing checks to start understanding how important it is to understand the entire ecosystem and how it all comes together, is going to be always challenging. And, so.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great point. And the idea of, so highlighting small stories, you put that as well, Leroy. So we can't just focus on problems, we need to focus on solutions. And highlighting small stories will motivate people, and it'll show them no matter what small steps you're taking, they're all very meaningful.
Yeah,
Okay?
right. And people can identify with that also. You can, a real short snippet, people understand that. Don't try to give it all at one time, just a real short thing, show a picture of ocean, have some people, like we in Hawaii here, we have youth and volunteers walk around with beach cleanup. It's all fun, and they might do a barbecue afterwards or something like that. Anything to try to create awareness and involvement.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. So it's students, and then Gunto is saying in Tenerife, there's an annual invitation given out to students to come and investigate environmental problems. And then the students are asked for their ideas, which measure in terms of which things may help, and they're asked to give a public talk. So that's a nice way of collaborating with youth and giving the young people a voice, and then showing us that we can all collaborate to make it better. Okay, that's awesome. I love these ideas. I love having the ambassador meetups because all the ideas are so great, and I love seeing all of you guys. Okay, so do we have another slide, Isabel? What's the next thing?
Okay, yeah, the next slide is that if you would like to know more about the UN conference this year, you can click here. You will receive the link. I will put the link in the chat so you can open it for the Island Innovation Pavilion, and you can follow all of the news around this conference. So thank you so much, Stacy. I think this was really informative and participative. So I like the participation of different perspectives from Hawaii, from Japan, from Venezuela. So I think it's really diverse and really, really good. So now I will introduce my colleague, Thais Maciel. So as I mentioned before, she will participate in person in the UN Ocean Conference. So Thais, if you want to share your screen, I think it will be good.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I already saw someone asking in the chat, Jesse, is the pavilion a video feed or is it a side event, virtual chat, or something else? Okay, now I'm gonna answer all these questions. So I prepared some slides for you about the Island Pavilion, and we will continue talking about the UN Ocean Conference. Let me just share my screen real quick, and then we can start. Okay. I believe you can see it already. Let me put in the presentation mode. All right, so let's talk about the Island Pavilion at the UN Ocean Conference. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to attend the UN Ocean Conference. I am also a resident of an island. I live in the south of Brazil, in an island that I consider to be one of the most beautiful in the world. It's called Santa Catarina. So if you don't know anything about this place, please do some research. I am sure you will not regret. It's very beautiful, my home island. Okay, so this year, the 2022 UN Ocean has this very impactful slogan, "Save our ocean, protect our future." I believe Stacy already said a lot of inspiring things about how important it is to protect the ocean and how we are connected to the ocean as human beings. And I brought the official video of the UN Ocean Conference for us to watch together. This video has no sound, okay? So if you were not listening the audio, it's because the first video has no sound. Let's do it, but it's a very nice video. Very nice video, huh? So this is the main theme of the United Nations Ocean Conference, Save Our Ocean, Protect Our Future. And okay, but what is the UN Ocean Conference? Stacey already did an introduction about this. She already explained what the conference is about, and I'm going to share some extra details with you. Okay, so now we will have the official presentation video of this year's UN Ocean Conference in Lisbon. So this video has an audio. The audio is in Portuguese because the conference is happening in Lisbon, in Portugal, right? But there are subtitles, so let's see the video together.
Lisboa recebe o encontro decisivo para salvar o oceano, proteger o futuro. A Conferência dos Oceanos das Nações Unidas, organizada por Portugal e Quênia, decorre de 27 de junho a 1 de julho. Governantes e parceiros sociais debatem ações para implementar o Objetivo de Desenvolvimento Sustentável 14, que visa proteger a vida marinha. Em 2022, o futuro do oceano decide-se em Lisboa.
Okay, did you understand what they said? So this year, let me go forward. The main goal of the United Nations Ocean Conference is scaling up ocean action based on science and innovation for the implementation of Goal 14. Okay, Goal 14 is life below water, and the advancement of this goal is guided by specific targets that focus on ocean issues, including, so I brought here for you the main topics that will be discussed during the conference in Lisbon. The first one is reducing marine pollution. So what are the solutions that we can create to minimize marine pollution, which is a huge problem, right? The second one is protecting marine and coastal ecosystems, right? Protecting wildlife, protecting all the ecosystems. The third one, minimizing acidification, which is also a very big problem that we are facing right now. The other one, ending illegal and overfishing. Okay, also, I believe most of you can relate to this problem. Increasing investment in scientific knowledge and marine technology, very important for the advancement of the blue economy and the conservation mechanisms that we are creating. And respecting international law that calls for the safe and sustainable use of the ocean and its resources. So these are the main topics that will be discussed by government representatives and people and marine scientists and people involved in the advancement of the Goal 14 in Lisbon during the Ocean Conference. Okay, the Island Innovation Team will be on the ground. I'm not the only one. So James, our CEO, will be there, and Audrey, our Director of Operations and Growth, will also be there. And to answer Jess's question, we will be there and we will provide live coverage and synopsis about what's going on, what's happening. Okay, so we will be attending the main conference, but also many side events with very inspiring organizations and people who are actually actively working for Goal 14. So we will, if you register to the Island Pavilion, you will receive a daily bulletin with the most relevant news, the most relevant decisions that are made there. And we will also try to interview people on the ground. So if you follow us on social media, you will probably see some live interviews, some live interventions from us during the conference. And the main idea is to make the content accessible for you, for everyone. So we know that not everyone can be there in Lisbon, not everyone can travel to Portugal to attend this conference, unfortunately. It would be very nice to see all of you there. But since it's not so easy, we will be there representing the islands around the world, and we want to make our voices heard, right? We will attend and we will listen to the speeches there, but we also want to contribute. We also want to send our message to the people who are decision makers in this conference. What else? We prepared some assets for you to help us promote this event, to help you advocate for the ocean, because we know this is something that resonates a lot with you. And this is something that everyone is very interested in talking about. We could see the discussions in the chat today. So we prepared a promotion guide for you around the Island Pavilion and the UN conference. You will receive this through email, right, Isabel, after this meeting. We will provide the link so that you can access the guide. And in this guide, you will find some general social media posts that you can use whenever you want. You don't need, you can use them now, but you can also use them in the future. You can use them whenever you need. So they are general posts about the importance of caring for the oceans, the importance of ocean conservation. And they have very nice images. So you will find posts for Instagram, for Facebook, for LinkedIn, also an infographic about the blue economy that you can share, that you can use as an educational material if you want. Okay. We also create this frame for you to add your favorite picture with the ocean. This is Isabel's. I think this is very nice. In Chile, right? Am I right? This is in Chile, right? Okay, and this is my picture in my island. So here you can see a small island that is just a few meters in the ocean from the coast of the island. And this is one of my favorite places in Santa Catarina Island. So you can choose your favorite pictures and add to this very nice frame and help us spread the word about the Island Pavilion at the UN Ocean Conference. You will also find an email template there if you want to send an email to invite your colleagues, your friends, to register for this event and receive all the information, all the news that we will be preparing for you. You will find an email template there. You will find copy for your social media posts, so you just need to copy and paste. It will be super easy for you to create very nice social media posts. You will find official logos, banners, flyers, a lot of nice materials that you can use to promote this very important initiative and help this message to reach more people, right? We want that as many people as we can have involved in the Island Pavilion. It's better for us to share the news, to make it this message heard. And now I prepared some questions for you, and in the end, we will have a challenge. So this is a very basic question, but I'm really interested in seeing your answers. So the first question is, what can you do on a daily basis, normally every day? What can you do to help protect the ocean? Okay, if you can write in the chat Let me see the answers. Use less plastic. Perfect. I told my mom this week that she shouldn't use plastic bags to put their fruit because, you know, it's a single-use plastic. And I told her, Mom, why don't you use a pot instead of a plastic bag? And she said, okay, yeah, I'm going to start doing that. So use less plastic, definitely. What else? Put garbage in its place and encourage others to do the same. Yeah. Only organic garbage. Okay, stop eating fish. This is a tricky one. This is a tricky one. If you live on an island, I think it can be very difficult for you to stop eating fish, but maybe you can do more, you can do better choices, right? You can choose the fish that is not in danger. You can choose the fish that maybe is farmed in a sustainable way instead of removed from the ocean. What else? Yeah, discourage the consumption of undersized fish. Something else, when people in my island fish mullet during the winter, the mullets come with eggs. And this is something people love to eat, fish eggs. I am 100% against eating fish eggs. You know, we should let the fish grow so that we can eat the bigger fish. Yeah, bigger fish breed better. No catch zones, perfect. What else can we do? Maybe beach cleanup is an idea. Can we go walk on the beach early in the morning and collect all the trash that we find on the sand? This is a good idea. Lower your carbon footprint. Okay, how? Does anyone know how to lower the carbon footprint? Any ideas here? You can also speak if you want, okay? Stop using fertilizers that run off into the sea and cause algae blooms. Perfect. Jean, do you want to say something?
Yes, please. I have it. So to help to protect oceans, maybe there's I think 2 ways. First, plant some trees on the mountains, because most of the ingredient and nutrition comes from the mountains and source out to the rivers and some groundwater as well. And if we planted more trees, it's going to be the good huge nutrition for the oceans to contribute to protect the oceans, especially for focusing about the biodiversity. And second one is most of the fishermen and fishery industry have our country, most of the country islands have it. And that time we can maybe setting out some frameworks or provide to some of the new fishing tools for via crowdfunding or helping them to make some of the upgrade tools to reduce the ghost fishing. So that's my solutions.
That's super interesting. Thank you so much, Jean. Very nice contributions today. I saw that Gillian said that they have a plastic project in St. Lucia, Replast, that is helping like clean up the ocean. If you can paste the link for us to visit and get to know more about your project. And by the way, if anyone else has a project related to ocean conservation or ocean cleanup, marine pollution, now is the time for you to share something about your work and what you are doing to help protect the oceans in your islands. Does anyone have anything to share?
Yes, I would just like to say that one of the things that we're doing here in Hawaii, I work with the University of Hawaii. We have a kind of technology innovation center. So what we've actually developed already that we'll deploy next month is a containerized, which is 20 by 20 C containerized, basically wasted energy solution. And the idea is to be able to place this on a platform. It's two 20 foot by 20 foot shipping containers that could be placed on the ship, that could be out to the gyre or whatever, and start processing that plastic and then create the fuel that's needed, their diesel, right on the spot so they don't have to come in. So one of the challenges we did is because we have several of our ocean platforms here, they go out, collect all this plastic or fishing net, they bring it back. Well, all the carbon footprint it takes to, to take the ship out there, come back, and then now how do you dispose of the plastic is still just a challenge. So to do that, we develop a solution to be able to have it processed on site, and then what does not become fuel for the ship, you dump the carbon directly into the ocean, because you put activated carbon directly into the ocean. That's going to help clean the ocean. It's going to revitalize the ocean and sort of make things go. So it's pretty innovative, and should be out here next month. I'll put a link to our website in the chat.
That's awesome. Really, this is an awesome example. Thank you so much, Roy. Please put the link to the chat. And we are definitely interested in learning more about this project. So if you have some time and when you think it's the best moment, we would love to do a live stream with you and interview you about this project. Let's do it. Let's share it, because other islands around the world can benefit from this technology, and that's our purpose here. So please keep us posted. Very
certainly
nice.
will. And we developed a containerized solution because we have an obligation in Hawaii to look after some of our small island nations, and we know landfills are overrun and all the other stuff. So we're to be able to have a solution that they can stop doing landfills, process process those wastes and create basic sellable products, give a new infused life. Right now we're targeting agriculture, so we can help with food productivity. We in collaboration with other universities that have tested the carbon that we produce, and they've been able to validate 200 to 300% growth in amount instead of using fertilizer, because of the environment that it creates for the plant and agriculture growth. It's so conducive to what's going on there. So pretty exciting stuff.
Super exciting, really. Very nice project. Thank you for sharing. Okay, the next question for you is, how can you influence others to do the same, to protect the ocean? So if you think about what you can do to protect the ocean, I think it's already challenging, but this is something you can put in practice. But now, how can you influence other people in your community, in your neighborhood, in your family to do the same? Jean?
Okay, the question is that maybe first we need to be recognized for the importance for protecting oceans. So now I also attend to the UN Ocean Conference in person as well, and also I hosted several virtual events. I mean online sessions, which continue to the more than 8 to 20 hours. And each of the sessions, some of the organization who is engaging on the oceans takes the floor for the introducing ourselves and the workshop. And also this online session going to be broadcasted on the YouTube, on Facebook, and Instagram as well, to be recognized. We are using hashtags. So that's why we do it to influence others to do the same. And also we also setting as a page for the fundraising as well, for contributing in actions or donations or putting some event and so on. So that's why I do it.
I agree 100%. Yeah, we have the potential here to be influencers. And I read something in the chat that someone said, Francisca said, best way to influence others is by doing what you want them to do. It shows that it's possible, and maybe even shows that it's fun and easy. I agree 100%. And that's why we created so many different assets for you to share your message and for you to influence others to care for the ocean, because many times what is lacking is information, right? And also instructions. Many people, they do care about the ocean, they do rely on the ocean, but they don't know what they can do on a daily basis. So if we show the example, if we share our message, if we tell others about what we are doing, and if we create this network of good ideas, we can influence others, and we can be impactful, right? So Grace is saying that we can invite our peers, our community to join to join you in taking action and have them understand why you're doing it. This is perfect. So educational initiative, if you can organize, for example, a beach cleanup, but instead of only going to the beach and cleaning the beach, if you can talk about why you're doing this, you can help influence others to do the same, right? To organize other beach cleanups and to pass the message on. Okay, now I have a challenge for you, and I think this will be something very nice. We can already start thinking about this now, but this will also reflect on the UN Ocean Conference in Lisbon. So here's the challenge, okay? This is my question. If you could send a message to the decision makers at the UN Ocean Conference, what message would you send? If you had the opportunity to go there and say something to the decision makers, what would you say? Okay, this is the challenge. So what I wanted to propose to you is that you create a social media post answering this question. We can have a discussion here on the chat if you already know the answer. But I suggest that you create a social media post answering this question. Add your customized photo with the frame of the island pavilion that we created for you and tag Island Innovation. The best messages will be featured on our social media channels, and we will take your messages to Lisbon, okay? What we want to do, I cannot promise this, but my idea is that we print some of the messages that you send us, and we will put these small posters all around the UN Ocean Conference so that everyone can see. If it works, I'm going to take pictures and I'm going to show to you in the next ambassadors meeting. But I think this could be something very nice for us to make our voices heard, for us to spread our messages in a physical space where many other attendees from all over the world can see our messages and what we are calling for. So think about it, okay? If you had the opportunity to go there and to speak to someone who is a decision maker, what's your message? Does anyone already have a message to share? Challenging?
I have a message to share as well, actually. I think one thing I would tell, we do have a prime minister in Barbados who is very vocal, and I would definitely say that we need to invest more in preserving and conserving coastlines. Right now, there's a big push in Barbados to develop the coastlines, and we have the remote workers program, which is great to bring people in, but I think there needs to be more of a focus on almost rewilding the coastlines that we have for such a small island. We need to maintain that, and also to protect or mangrove swamps, because mangroves play a huge part in carbon capture and in decreasing the amount of carbon dioxide. So that's something I would say to the policymakers for sure.
Jean?
Okay, thanks. So based on to the result of the UNES and Stockholm Pacific and the international conference and result of the UNFCCC SB66, we also have to the same take the lead for the legal frameworking with collaborating with any other countries, especially for the focusing on the Latin America seas and the Pacific seas and Indian seas and the Atlantic seas, and so some of the take their auctions for fund, get some fundraising, like invest into the fishery industries and local industries, and also frameworking to the infrastructures, same as the climate change and energy transitions.
Very nice. Isabel, do you want to share your message?
Yeah. No, I just want to say that I would really like to say that we are a powerful network of individuals around the world, that we know and we really understand what is happening around the ocean. So I don't know if it's a message for them, but maybe it's a message to all of the ambassadors that we should continuing participating in these kind of processes, in these kind of events, in these kind of networks, communicating each other and understanding what is happening in other parts of the world. Sometimes we feel really, I don't know, overwhelmed with all of the information that is happening around the world. But maybe in our island, the situation is much more better than is happening in other part of the world. But or maybe we have a lot to do. So the only way to learn is speaking with others and communicating each other. So if you have the chance to continue participating in the ambassadors meetup, I think we will learn a lot, and we have a lot to do. We have a lot of challenges to solve, and I think the UN Ocean Conference is a good opportunity for you to participate and to listen, learn, and educate yourself in what is happening around the ocean. But we will have more initiatives, we will have more events, maybe something around water, not really direct to ocean, or garbage, or plastic pollution, or sargassum that Francisca is working on. So you all can participate in those kind of events and being the voice of the change. So you can be change makers, you are here, you have a proposal, so you are here to say something, to represent your island voluntarily. So if you have the chance to empower your community, I think this is the best way to be in front of this.
Perfect. And just to make this challenge a little bit easier for you, if you are still thinking, oh my God, I don't know what is the message that I would like to send. If you want to tell a story, for example, if you want people at the UN Ocean Conference to know what's going on in your island, in your neighborhood, close to you, it can be a story, you know? You can talk about the impact that you can see already close to you. You can ask for something. For example, I think I would like to ask the decision makers at the UN Ocean Conference not to create more beach resorts on my island, because this is something that bothers me deeply. You know, there are a lot of projects in Santa Catarina Island to create very big resorts like the ones in Punta Cana, for example. And I don't want this to happen. I want the nature to be preserved. I want the beaches to be public. And this is definitely something I would like to tell the decision makers there. So please keep our beaches accessible to everyone, right? So it can be a story, it can be a wish, it can be anything. It's your message. What would you say if you were there? Okay, feel free to think about it.
Yeah, I'll just real briefly. One of the messages that we are kind of promoting now from our side is to look at the river cleanup before it gets to the ocean. That's the greatest opportunity to stop ocean pollution if you can catch it before it gets out there. So there's been simple things as creating some type of fence or type of strain that can let the water through, but holds the plastics and hold the rubbish from going out there. Whatever small little things can do, very inexpensive, but we try to get that word out there to try to stop it at the source.
Perfect. That's a perfect example, Leroy. Thank you very much. And if you want to share something about your own initiative, or if you are volunteering in a project and you would like to tell the world about it, this can also be your message. So imagine if we have a lot of very nice messages, we can have a lot of very nice posters with your picture from islands all over the world, and people at the UN Ocean Conference can get to know you, can get to know your work, can get to know your concerns, okay? This is a very good opportunity for us to be heard in a physical space, right? Unfortunately, we cannot be there all together, but we can go there and we can represent you. So think about the message and don't be afraid, okay? Just write something. Okay, please.
Okay, so thank you so much, Thais, we are finishing this meeting for today. We had I think we discussed a lot. I can see the chat is really active today. So I am really happy for that. Thank you so much, Stacy, for explaining us about the UN Ocean Conference. Thank you, Thais, for explaining us about the Island Innovation Pavilion at the UN Conference. Thank you, Abia, for creating this really challenging quiz today. It was really difficult, and we were like, okay, we learned a lot from you. So I think we learned a lot from Thais, from Stacy, from Abia, from Christian too. So thank you, Christian, for being my colleague in that and the co-moderator of these sessions. I think this is really amazing. So I can see a lot of opportunities to network all together. I hope you can work on the challenge for the upcoming activities. And you have the Ambassador Resources page where you can check this presentation, this recording, and the upcoming challenges. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to write to me. And see you next time. I will have more guests from our team or external guests that can present. And if you will participate in person during the UN conference, please send us pictures there, and we will be really happy to promote to our social media. Thank you so much, and have a nice day, night, evening, afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.